You ready to fire away?
Yeah, I think so. Go easy. I've had a busy week.
Do you know what? You were my first ever interview for the BBC 8 years ago.
Oh, no,
then. Homsey St Helens. I always remember it.
You're going to embarrass me there now because I'm afraid that I don't remember, which is a good thing as far as an interview is concerned because it means that
There you go.
you did a good job. It's always the bad ones you remember.
I always remember the first one. First of all, then, how is the squad looking going into Europe this weekend?
Yeah, it's looking good, thank you. Particularly today, we've had a lot of illness around, which I'm sure a lot of squads are suffering from at the moment. I think the general population is struggling from it. So, considering the upheaval we've had earlier in the week, we had a lot of illness around the building, but the medical staff and the S&C staff have done a terrific job in terms of mitigating that. And then obviously from a rugby department, the coaches have been class around like adjusting what we normally do, making some adjustments to make sure that we're still well prepped at the end of the week. So it's been a good all-round performance from everybody, and then obviously the players, their mindset's been great in terms of just toughening it up and going with it, So they haven't had much man flu. They've been good.
So is there anybody out with contention? Anybody due back?
No, we're pretty consistent from the last fixture in terms of availability. We've got some illness which doesn't look like it's going to keep anybody out at the moment, which is good, but obviously that can change overnight. So nobody really coming back in that we weren't planning on, and there's nobody gone out at this stage that we're concerned about. So that's a positive.
Did I hear that Rhys Davis is injured again?
Yeah, to be fair to Rhys, he's had a little bit of swelling on his knee from the Cardiff game, and we've made a decision there to sort of pull him out of contention this week. He's been out a long time, and the last thing we want to do is sort of force him into a situation where we're compromising him. So he's getting some treatment from the physios at the moment, and we're just assessing that. We're hoping it's not going to be too long, but again, we're waiting to hear, what the sort of source of that swelling is.
Poor guy can't catch a break, can he?
No, he can't, and obviously that's why we're pretty keen to sort of give it a chance to settle. The last thing we want to do is put him in a position where he feels like he's not comfortable in sort of pushing his body at this stage. He's done a really good job up until now, working really hard on, so that, unless we need to... If it was a cup final tomorrow and nothing left at the end of the season, then it might be a different conversation, but it's not, and we need to do what's best for Rhys,
Let's look ahead to Europe then. What does the European competition mean to you as a former player and now as a coach?
I think for myself, the coaches and everybody involved, the Europe has not lost its sort of romance. It is the pinnacle of competitions, really. Everybody wants to lift a European trophy because obviously it does send out, or it used to send out, a huge marker around where your squad was, because obviously the competitions were very domestic based, but obviously the URC now is multinational. It's hemispheric in terms of we've got Southern Hemisphere teams in there now, so it's not as sort of a niche anymore. But it's still the marker for you when you're going up against, players from different nationalities, teams from all over the world, players from all over the world. It's massive. So we're keen to do well in it, and obviously we know we did well last year. The boys really loved going deeper into the competition and what that meant for the preparation weeks and obviously the occasions. So we'd love to be able to be in a position where we can do the same again.
You kind of answered my question already, but would you say Europe is your best chance of getting something out of this season, considering how poor the start to the USC has been?
Yeah, it probably is when you look at it from where we sit in the table at the moment. If I said to you we want to try and qualify for the URC knockouts, you'd be saying we're crazy, but we only had a 2% chance on the last day of the season last year. So we're still pretty open-minded around the league. There's a lot of teams beating a lot of teams there at the moment. So that, I think the points total there can vary, but we know it needs to look like 9 or 10 wins plus some good bonus point pickups along the way. So we can still get there, but it means a pretty good run in the URC between now and the end of the year. So we're still working towards that. But again, you've got to win less games in Europe, haven't you? So to get to a final, so or certainly a semi-final. So yeah, in answer to your question, it probably is a bit easier, but there's some tough teams in there.
I think Newcastle will probably view Europe as the same given their form in the English Premiership. I mean, what have you learned from them, reviewing them this week?
Yeah, Dimes talked around, a couple of months ago before the competition started that they were going to take a charter to POW and they were going to really attack the competition, and the owners wanted to get in behind it. And obviously that's happened. Their results haven't sort of replicated that. I think they lost to the Dragons at home. Well, I know they lost to the Dragons at home, and then obviously the same out in Pau. So from a results point of view, it hasn't put them in the best position. But look, they're probably looking at it going, we can still qualify out of here, potentially in a 4th place position as it stands. So I'm not sure if it'll change their mindset around it, but obviously the Premiership is a tough competition. They're still waiting on whether there's going to be relegation and promotion involved there. So I know with players, he's already talked this week around players off contract, etc. So I'd imagine they've got their sights probably on the Prem, but it doesn't mean they're not a dangerous side coming down here, because it obviously takes a bit of pressure off maybe.
And just a couple then on the Wales players. How is Dewi Lake getting on with his rehabilitation?
Yeah, I haven't seen Dewi face to face, if I'm honest with you, but obviously we're in touch over telephone. My understanding is it's going really well. He's working hard. The feedback from both the WRU camp and obviously our own camp is he's progressing well, and obviously we're just playing that by ear now. He'll be his return to play will be based on surgeons and based on how he's tracking in terms of the rehabilitation stages. So yeah, it's all positive at the moment as it stands with Dewi.
And we'll find out the squad on Monday. Do you back Jack Morgan to step up as captain again if he's chosen?
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think he did a phenomenal job leading Wales before. Dewi's obviously picked the baton up with Jack's absence and really, made that his own while Jack's been coming back into the squad. So we're really fortunate here to have the 2 Welsh most recent captains sitting in our midst. Their quality, whichever player is chosen at any time, will do a fantastic job. So those boys are incredible.
Great, lovely to speak to you again.
Thank you, great to see you again as well. Thank you.
Luck.
Thank you.
How are you?
Hi Steph, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Just on the subject of Wales selection, your halfbacks, Ruben and Dan, have been going very well in the team for a while, haven't they?
Yep.
Do you think, I know Wales selection isn't down to you, but do you think that they should be under consideration? Do you see test players in them?
Yep, I do. They should be under consideration, definitely. I think they probably are under consideration, if I'm honest with you. If you look at their performances, not just over this season, even Ruben last year was very, very, very good for us in all competitions. His durability, considering he's probably played, more of a supporting role with the likes of Rhys Webb around the environment in the past, British Lion player. Sometimes the challenge for a player who is supporting the majority of the time, actually being given the opportunity to lead, they don't always grasp it, and he's done an incredible job of grasping that. And actually, I think he's been awesome since I've been at the club. He's done a really good job, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he was named in the squad. But we're very lucky here. We've got a lot of good nines here. Kieran obviously was brought in here to give us depth there. We know that Luke Davis is going to be a very, very good player, and he's developing all the time. So we're very happy with our nines. And then Dan, as you say, we saw moments of it last year around, Ulster, drop kicks, his ability to beat a player. So, and then this year he's really grasped it again. He's become quite a dominant game manager, which obviously at international level is such a bigger ask, and he's shown that he can do that. He's very mature and understands that whilst he's a flair player, he can actually do the nuts and bolts and manage a game as well.
Yes, since you've been at the Ospreys, who are the sort of young up and coming players? Perhaps your fans haven't heard of some of them yet, but who are the up and coming players that you're really excited by? You think got sort of big features in an Osprey jersey?
You're not going to ask me to build a shopping list now for all the teams in Europe, are you? No, I'm pulling your leg. No, look, there's a lot of talented players here. The Pathway's done an incredible job of producing international players, British Lions, for a long, long time. The honours board's just behind me here, and it's full of them. So you haven't got to be a rocket scientist to work out that we've got talent in the region. But look, Dan and Ruben, obviously Ruben's a little bit older now, but they're two really good examples around the future. I think we've got players. Harry Houston has shown in the 20s recently. He's a dangerous player. Yestin Hopkins shows real potential as a back three player, still very, very young. And then, you've got the Morgan Morses. Even Jack Morgan's 23, 24 years old. We got locks in James Fender. Even Rhys Davis is a young player. So I would consider those young players that have got international futures ahead of them. Garen Phillips at Loose said, look, it goes on and on and on. Even Rhys Henry's not an old guy, he's not an old statesman. So we've got lots of young players that are in our squad. that we're excited about moving forward and could force ourselves into international contention in the next 2 or 3 years.
In talking about shopping lists, it is that time of the season where fans get impatient about new signings and retention and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I know you can't name names, but are there any sort of, you know, will you be doing much business in terms of signing players externally? Anything for Ospreys fans to look forward to?
Yeah, we're definitely trying to explore some opportunities to bring really, quality into the environment. We've got a lot of young players coming through that we know will benefit from having quality around them. So having like great role models, or having like players that have experienced maybe some overseas experience or some Premiership experience, or even playing in France, or etc. There's guys that can come in and mentor these younger players and can drive the standards up. So we're looking at players all the time. We know that the relationship between the regions and the WRU is going to have a big impact on that, the new agreement, because hopefully when that's signed, that'll give some flexibility to bringing in some real quality to support our young players. We're already a long way down the line, sort of securing our own talent. So the focus here, when sort of the announcement was made around myself coming into this role, was working with Dan Griff. Dan's done an incredible job of retaining our young talent, and that was our main focus, but we've been able to do that in the large part, and now we're sort of setting our sights on maybe bringing some external quality in as well.